Hey guys, Silverlord here, back again with another review with a very special guest.
Tee Bizz in the house.
And today, we'll be taking a look at the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, Revelation, Skeletor. So without further ado, let's get into it, you boobs. Behold, the Lord of Destruction. How'd I do? Never done a Mark Hamill on this channel before. Either way, as I said before, today I'm going to be taking a look at the mighty Lord of Destruction, Skeletor. He is, of course, part of the Masterverse line brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel, who will be fine folks for this video because A, this guy wasn't hard to find, B, I actually like this figure. It's about time I liked one of these Masterverse figures. But this is, of course, based on how the mighty Skeletor will appear in the upcoming Masters of the Universe Revelation series coming to Netflix this week. As of the time I'm posting this, it'll be up on Friday. Got an exclusive Scareglow going up for sale on Thursday. Good luck with that. Every man for himself. And Tee Bizz will join me at the end of this video to share some final thoughts about this figure. Shout out to Tee Bizz. So, you guys are probably thinking, no, it's probably easy for you to like the figure of a dude with a skull head. For those of you who think that, watch the Skelegon review. Either way, looking at this guy's... I almost forgot about it. One of the best things from this line. Cannot forget this amazing packaging. That's right. We're doing it. I forgot to pull it out before I started recording, but I don't care. It says Skeletor, Masterverse, blah blah blah. Awesome artwork of the character on the side of the box. Awesome artwork of the character on the back of the box with a bio, other figures in the line. Nice, resealable, collector-friendly packaging. This one's a bit beat up, but it's going in recycling, so it does not matter. So, standing him back here, we're going to look at his accessories first. Let's get that out of the way. I'd say that's centered enough. So, of course, he comes with his Staff of Havoc, the Havoc Staff, which is probably my favorite version of the Havoc Staff so far. Looks awesome. It's nice kind of almost fur-like sculpt here. The ram's skull at the top, which appears to have fangs. And it's got this nice kind of whitewash going over the front of it. The horns are big, but not too big. Not too small either. That's what she said. And then it's got the little nubbin at the end there. And it stands appropriately taller than he does. So that is cool. He also comes with, and this is interesting, the Shaping Staff, which I believe is a Filmation artifact from the first episode. Kind of looks like an Ankh from ancient Egypt because of the two little thingies there and the circle at the top and the long shaft pole. It's not going to sound inappropriate no matter what I say. I mean, this thing is inappropriate, but that's because I'm a sicko. So, looks cool. It's the Shaping Staff. Not sure how it works. Kind of interesting. It's got the little loop-de-loop there. Again, inappropriate. But, I'm mature, I swear. But it'd be interesting to see him use this in the show. Curious if that's how he gets the power of Grayskull. Because, well, it's got to turn into Skelegod somehow. And then he comes with an alternate set of hands. And by that I mean he comes with an alternate right and alternate left hand. He's got this pointing finger, so we can tell Evelyn to get the groceries. And then he's got a flat palm hand, so he can smack her ass on the way out. Because that's how we roll here at Overlord Productions. Or it can be, if you pose it up like this, it can be a talk to the hand, girlfriend. That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, that's it. I kind of wish he had another fist and another one of these grip hands for this side, and then another one of the flat palms for this side. But whatever, I guess. Let's take a look-see at Skeletor. I really like this guy. I know people don't like the white face, which I think it's odd he's got a white face, because I'm pretty sure he's got a yellow one in the trailers, if I'm not mistaken. But he's got the white face. He's got some fangs going on there. Very 2000X. Probably why I like this guy. His little hood sticks off the head a bit much for me. I might try and flatten that out with some heat eventually. Just have it bent over the face because I think that looks a little better. But it's whatever. It's not that bad. It's not a deal breaker. It's a fixable issue, so it's not that bad. His torso armor is, however, 2 pieces, so if I pop his head off here, this top piece comes off, and it's got, I think, the other 2 bones from this on there. It does. And then you can take the cape off, which I know people don't like these, so you can take this off if you don't like it. And then put the shoulder piece back on, and then by matter of friction, I believe this head will hold this piece in place. But I will say the cape does help it stay in place quite a bit, so I'm going to leave the cape on mine. There is a custom cape for the MOTU Classic Skeletor on eBay. Or there was anyways. And it was a big, long, black cape that I can imagine is better quality than this old thing. This feels kind of like a sock. I believe it's felt or something. But if you got that cape, I think this guy would look great with that, and maybe even the MOTU Classics armor, because I don't care for this kind of wobbling around being a separate piece. I wish this pinned in. Any other company would probably have a way for this to lock into place. This really doesn't lock into place. That's probably my only gripe with this figure, as far as the actual figure goes, is that this does not appear to have any place to tab in. So that sucks. It would have been nice maybe to put something here and here, because I don't think the cape goes out that far. Maybe it does. But maybe something in the front here. Or maybe this thing could have been where it tabbed in. They could have made this a separate piece entirely and it pegged into the harness here. Just thinking of ways to improve that. But we're going to leave the cape off this guy so it doesn't get in the way for articulation. I mean, it really doesn't, but who wants to see it flapping around all over the place? So articulation on this guy. It's got the ball joint in the head. Looks side to side, looks up and down a little bit. Tiny bit of tilt, not a ton though. Head is smaller than it probably should be, but it doesn't bug me a lot. Makes him look more jacked, a little bit more buffed up, so that's okay. Shoulders go out to the side, pretty good. Back down, forward and back. He's got a bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow, that is pinless. And it does give you some really good range. And then he's got a hinge and swivel at the wrist. That works fine. Wish he had the up and down hinge, like most weapon wielding characters. And I will say these elbows, while I do think they are pretty clean, if they smoothed out these sharp edges here, that would perfect them, I would think. But it's fine as it is. It's a nitpicky thing. Torso clicks forward, clicks back. It does tilt side to side. Not really any rotation out of that, but it does feel like it wants to twist slightly, so whereas Moss Man had kind of the tilt, this guy's got a bit of the swivel, but I would not advise swiveling it there. You could shear that peg and break the figure in half. He does have a waist swivel, though, so you get your swivel down there. And again, I am more of a double ball peg diaphragm joint or an ab crunch type guy. These joints that they're using on these just do not feel the most sturdy. I've never gotten a figure with this type of joint where it feels really solid, so it's just my 2 cents on that. Even the Marvel Legends Hulks, this joint can be kind of wonky on it, so something worth noting. The hips. Now the hips on this dude, they're not floppy, that's for sure, but they were scary to move at first. I had to put a crap ton of soap in there to get these to move freely. They work fine now. They are a little bit tricky to swivel still, but they do work. You can kick his leg about a right angle forward. Does splay out a bit, but that's fine. But it does feel like there is some kind of, I want to say, indentations or detents in this ball hinge here, which if they took that out and just made these like either ratcheted joints or something like the DC Classics used to have with the hinge joint and then the swivel that went into the body, but made it more like some of the DC Multiverse figures where it was that big bulky hinge, but most of them are going to have stuff covering that anyways, with the peg going into the crotch. I think that would be a better fit for this line because those are a little bit more sturdy. But with that said, these aren't loose. I'm just a little bit weary about cranking on them. If they don't move, do not move it. You will shear that little bar in there, which on this guy is probably appropriately sized. But again, you're going to want to be careful with that joint. It feels really kind of when you first open them. He does have a thigh cut, but again, be careful with that bar. You can rotate the hips on the ball itself. I think you get enough range out of that. Last I checked, your thigh doesn't rotate there anyways, so it's whatever. It's not that big a deal. But it is there. And I will say it is hidden enough by the skirt pieces here, which go all the way around him. I think that is new for this version. He does have a double knee. So can he kick his own? He can almost kick his own Skeletor butt. How about that? He could punch himself in his own Skeletor face. That's nice. I will say, the knee joints, they did dang near perfectly. I like these better than the elbows. They do have a little bit of a trench here and here, but it's not as sharp as on the elbows. So that is fine. I don't think those need to be changed much at all. And then he's got the boot cut there, and then he's got a hinge at the foot with a rocker. Really solid ankle joints, have no problems with that. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet for the stand he does not have. And really doesn't need. He can stand up fine on his own. But yeah, he looks awesome, man. I love this figure. Top 10 of the year quality, I don't know if I go that far, just because there's a lot that hasn't come out this year. Like that NECA Goliath from Gargoyles. I mean, if something beats that, it's, I don't know. It's something that good, but for like $5. I don't know. I don't see a lot of things topping that Goliath figure. That's been a grail of mine. Have a fully articulated Gargoyles line for the longest time. So, as much as I like the Lord of Destruction, I don't know if he's got a shot on the old top 10 of the year list as far as this channel is concerned. But I will say, as far as this line is concerned, this is the best figure in the line to me. I don't have He-Man. I don't have Battle Cat. I want those. Battle Cat is probably the best figure out of all of them, quality-wise, but my favorite's probably always going to be Skeletor. But we'll see how that Scareglow turns out, you know, if we actually get a hold of one. So I'm sure somebody out there has to have 10 of them and freaking ruin it for everyone else. I'm not going to turn this into a rant, I promise. We already did that with the Evil In video. You don't need to see that again. Even though some people like it when I do that. You guys want rant videos? I can give you rant videos all day. So, with that being said, there he is with his Havoc staff. I don't mind the Havoc staff being in his left hand either. I think that's fine. I think he still looks very cool, even though I would prefer it in his right hand, which you can do. And it does have a bit of a tilt to it, so you can get him in a blasting pose. But I like this. This is cool. So with that being said, let's take a look at some size comparisons. Taking a look at some size comparisons, here is Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction. Okay, that's enough with the impressions. Next to the only other basic figures I've already reviewed from this Masterverse line, we have Evil In, who is, I think, a little bit better when standing next to Skeletor here. She seems to complement him very well. Makes me like that figure just a tiny bit more. Again, there's nothing really wrong with the figure, I just don't like the costume. And then we have Mossman, which, side note, Mossman is going to be voiced by Alan Oppenheimer, who's the voice of the original Skeletor in the Filmation series. Pretty cool stuff. Up next, here he is, next to the MOTU Classic Skeletor, the end-all be-all Skeletor for most people. Not me, per se. I do like that figure. Shout out to Tee Bizz for hooking me up with that figure, actually. But, yeah, I kind of like the body on this new one a little bit more. I like the double joints in the elbows and the knees and the ankle rockers. Nothing wrong with this classic Skeletor. I just don't think you can do as much with it. And it's got the pins that are pretty big, bulky, and, well, let's just say so 10 years ago. And then we have the mighty Skelegod, who I actually like more than I did when I reviewed him, but still not my favorite figure in the line. That's going to go to this more basic-looking Skeletor in the middle here. And last, but certainly not least, and our two regulars, Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. I think Skeletor stacks up pretty nice against these two. Would he last long in a fight? I don't know. If we're talking about, like, him in the cartoons, yes, but if we're talking about this figure, they'd probably snap him in half at that odd torso joint. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. But before we wrap things up with some final thoughts with Mr. Tee Bizz, I decided to do a bit of parts swapping with the MOTU Classics Skeletor. I threw his chest armor on there, which is a nice tight fit and actually kind of fixes the torso joint problem I have with this line. And then I also popped on the Skeletor head from the MOTU Origins Evil Target exclusive 2-pack, which you can actually find nowadays. I think it looks really cool like this. Kind of wish I had these extra parts to keep this as it is, but you know, I just figured I'd throw it in here because I've seen a lot of people do some part swapping with this figure, and I think that looks really cool, but that's not going to be the way I display this guy. So now, with that being said, let's wrap things up. Some final thoughts. 1, 2, 3. Overall, pardon my French, but I think we fucking nailed it. But yeah, this is, of course, my favorite figure in the wave. What's it to you? I mean, am I biased? Maybe, but out of all of the... You weren't supposed to answer that. Out of all these that I've gotten so far, I mean, I will still say Evil In probably has the best quality, but as far as having the best overall quality and the best aesthetic, I think this guy takes the cake for me. Yeah, it's not perfect, of course. I mean, nothing is anymore. The cape, not a lot of people are a fan of the cape. I don't mind it, though it does seem a bit lifeless. Just kind of... But there's plenty of custom capes you can buy nowadays, so I don't see that as that big of an issue. And most people who don't like the cape are most likely going to do that. The one thing I would say is my main gripe is that the top half of the armor doesn't tab into the lower half, because he's got that piece that sits on his shoulders, and it just kind of floats. The cape and the head have enough friction to hold it in place, but it should tab in. I think if they had made the skull and crossbones, or not the skull and crossbones, but that little crossbones piece where it plugged in and fit in securely, I think it would be fine. I don't think it would be that much of an issue. But other than that, I mean, the hips are still the hips. I think they have some things they could fix about those hips, and then maybe the torso joints. I'm more of a fan of like double ball pegs or just straight ab crunches. I've never got a figure with this type of joint that feels like great, but it's not terrible on this guy. I would say Mossman is probably the weakest of the three basic figures, and then Skelegods was fine. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this guy. I mean, his Havoc staff is, I think, the best Havoc staff we've gotten in MOTU, period. And then you get the shaping staff, maybe another fist hand and another bitch slapping hand would have been nice, but you know, for what you get, I don't think it's that bad. Maybe the face should have been yellow. Is it supposed to be? It looks yellow in the trailers. It's very 2000X-y though, so I don't mind that too much. What is Mr. Tee Bizz think of this guy?
Well, I've yet to receive mine. I've had to pre-order mine from FYE. I haven't seen one locally here at my local Walmart. I might go in the morning to see if they've got any. And then my girlfriend sent her toy hunting, but she's not very good at it. But still, she didn't see anything, and I sent her a picture of the box, or empty box, what it looked like. So I don't even know if they're around here. They might be around here in town. I just don't know, and I haven't been able to make it out. And I really want to check them out. I feel like Evil Lyn is probably the most like, if you want to, I guess, compare him to something. Maybe like towards the old Marvel Legends stuff or whatever, or maybe even because these are better than, I guess, the DC Universe and all that stuff. But anyways,
I would say these are better than the DC Multiverse that Mattel did.
Multiverse, but not the universe. Yeah.
The DC Classics was, I think that was probably good. Early on, I think they were a little better because they had ankle tilts and stuff, but even that wasn't that great. This has full-on ankle rockers, whereas the Classics, and I know everyone's all the end-all be-all is the Classics, but A, you can't afford most of the ones you want, and B, you can't pose them for shit. Sorry, not sorry, that's the fact, Jack.
Yeah, like Mossman has his issues, but I still like that figure. He's still a pretty cool figure.
I mean, if you want to flock Mossman,
I mean, like I always get this comparison. He's not a Spidey, Pizza Spidey, whatever. He's not gonna have that kind of. He doesn't need to have that much range. He's just a big walking plant guy, like, you know, or tree dude, swamp thing, whatever you want to call him. And I feel like
it's like the only time he knew ninjutsu was 2000X, but that was every character.
Yeah, I feel like Evil Lyn's probably got the most fluid articulation, probably, even though I need to watch your review. I haven't done it yet, and I get mine Monday, so I'll check it out.
She's probably, as far as a base figure goes, the best as far as quality goes. I didn't have any of the hip problems.
Yeah.
Really, any of the looseness. There's a little bit, but it wasn't bad. I just don't like the costume, and that just kills the figure for me.
I really like He-Man, but I feel like each figure has its own individual kind of articulation and kind of, or just its own individual way of posing it, you know? So I haven't got Skeletor, so I can't really say anything.
It's like almost like old school McFarlane that you could still move.
Yeah, pretty much, but with a little bit more articulation than the way old school McFarlane used to break all the time. And but like I said before, yeah, they seem to all have their own unique way of posing or articulation or whatever. And what other thing was, I compared them to the Marvel Universe or whatever. The 3-inch figures, when those first came out, those were pretty crappy. Like the Hand Ninja, that thing was really shit, like articulation. And then as the waves went on with those 3-inch figures, they got better and better and better and better. And I feel like maybe that'll be the case with these, you know.
I feel like they've got it close, but they could get better. Like, I think that really the only things I think they should improve upon in the articulation department is the torso cut and the hip joints. Everything else I think is fine.
That is kind of weird.
Maybe some looseness issues, but really other than that, as far as the articulation scheme goes, I think it's fine. I don't think they need to add any more. I think you get enough range out of all of it. I was saying maybe they could clean up, like, the elbow joints. The knee joints are a little bit smoother, but the elbow joints seem to have these kind of trenches in them. And other than that, and then that's being nitpicky, really.
Yeah, that's very crazy.
But, there are ways to do the double jointed elbow and not have those cuts in the elbow itself. I mean, and that's just that's being nitpicky, and that's not the biggest deal. I would rather the function was a little bit more solid in the hips and the torso, then we get cleaner elbows.
Yeah.
I always take construction before aesthetic, because if the construction sucks, who cares how good it looks? Skelegod.
Yeah. Because Skelegod, he looks cool, but yeah, it's like really kind of a crap figure in a lot of ways. But
and it
also,
costs $30.
To say too was that when you're making a figure of this scale for that kind of collector, the 6-7 inch collector community is like
you're
really
gonna get a lot of nitpickers.
Yeah, they're really anal, really stupid, and really I don't want to say stupid, but just like really.
Oh, some are stupid. That's okay.
You got. I mean, I know some dudes that it's a profession is that scale, but it's like I just think as a community, a lot of them. I don't know. I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you, man. Because I don't really. Like I said, I come from the old school Kenner and old school He-Man days. So like I come from the old school, old school He-Man, old school Kenner.
It always goes back to that Lando Calrissian from Kenner Star Wars.
Looking at a Lando figure. I mean, it's what I dealt with. It's what I had. It's what we, suffered with. Whatever.
My only argument with that is it has been 40 years since then. It should be better, but let's face it, it's not. And we're just gonna have to get over that. I mean, I got a Doctor Doom from a buddy of mine that's got 2 left hips, for crying out loud, and I'll be on the phone with Hasbro for at least a half hour about that. So, it could really be worse. This guy doesn't have any of those issues, thankfully, because it's Skeletor, and I like him more than Doctor Doom, to be honest with you. Really, the only gripes I have is, other than the articulation scheme in the hips and the torso, which it's the whole line, so it's really not a knock against this guy. That's just how the line is.
Yeah.
But the cape, again, could be better. It just seems lifeless. And then the armor, I wish the top half kind of pegged in and secured itself to the bottom half. You'll see this better when you get it in hand or when you watch the rest of the video, but...
It's a funny thing about the cape is the capes just feel like they went to Hobby Lobby and just found whatever. It's like,
I cut up a sock. Look at that.
Yeah, we'll just get this. It's purple. Put it on.
People think it's an afterthought, which it probably is. I'm hoping that Scareglow's cape is a lot better. It sounds like it is, because it's going to be wired. It's going to be posable, which... good luck with that, everybody. Every man's for himself. I'm getting one for me, myself, and I, and that's it.
I would rather just have just like a nice, malleable, bendable rubber cape with that you can take off or on, or
like the Origins of Evil, Keldor, maybe.
But I will say this: that Scareglow with the wire cape looks pretty cool that they're doing. So maybe they'll I don't know if they can include that with every figure they're going to put. Well, you don't have a lot of cape figures. You really don't in He-Man, so it's not like there's going to be a ton of capes.
I mean, Randor, but other than
that. But if they do mass release, Randor's got a robe or whatever. But anyways.
Oh, Randor, the vintage figure, had a blue cape, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember. I just thought he had a robe. Anyways, like a royal robe or something like that. I thought he was
in the cartoon, I think he had the robe, but in the vintage toy, he was like mostly red, but then he had the blue cape around his neck.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. How the heck I remember that, I don't know. But I don't even have that figure. But what is it, Hordak, I guess? She-Ra, if they go that route. Sorceress, maybe, kind of, sort of. Although I don't think this new version does. I think she's closer to 2008. Maybe she's got a robe or something, but... yeah, there's not a lot of cape dudes in MOTU, period. So, really, the time to make better versions of the capes for Skeletor and Skelegod's kind of come and gone. Maybe they'll do it and include it with another figure like they used to do with classics, but that would suck to get a cape with a figure you don't have. For a figure you don't have, I'm that way with classics. It's like, oh, we got this Filmation accessory that I've never heard of that doesn't go with his character. It's like, I would have rather have gotten something to go with the character I bought, but whatever, it's cool, I guess, if you're into that. It was even weirder when they used to put the Filmation accessories with 2000X guys. I never got that. That was confusing. I'm like, okay, but whatever. Either way...
You're talking about classics?
Yeah.
That's just something cool to do. That's just something cool to throw in.
Because I always thought it was funny they put the Filmation artifacts with 2000X guys, and they didn't really do that. 2000X artifacts. There wasn't a ton of those.
Because they eventually put out Filmation figures, so it kind of works.
Yeah, they
They did a lot of cool little Easter eggs.
little Easter eggs and whatnots. Because what is it? Intergalactic Skeletor comes with like the cyborg faker head, which that's going to be coming out soon for this line. But other than that, and Scareglow, we don't know what anything else looks like at this point. The Man-at-Arms, the Tila, the Beastman, and the Spikor, which is some crazy off-the-wall thing, which, I don't know, he could be a little bit more main. I have no idea, maybe not, but Mossman seems like he's going to play a kind of a big role, even though he's not a main character. He's like a kind of a sentry for Castle Grayskull this time around. I didn't point that out in my review, but Tee Bizz read the bio for Mossman, and it kind of sounds like he's a sentry for the secret entrances of Grayskull, so that'll be kind of interesting. I kind of like to see him.
He's a part of the Moss on Grayskull. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe, yeah, that would make sense.
That is totally nuts.
See him fighting Scareglow, that would be the battle to see, because Scareglow is all about sneaking into there. Which, again, every man for himself with that one. I ain't helping nobody but myself getting that figure.
The evil ghost.
The evil spectral servant of Skeletor, as it should be, because he doesn't look anything like Skeletor. Sorry, not sorry. But either way, this is a cool figure. I think it's cool. If you don't like it, well, that's your problem, innit? But, better than Skelegod. I think it's a little better than the other figures in the wave. I don't have He-Man yet, so I can't say that for him, but I'm probably still going to like this guy more than He-Man just because I've always liked Skeletor more. Even though I don't really see anything wrong with that He-Man. I don't get what all the blah, 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 the hubbub's about.
I like him.
I'm going to see what it looks like with the...
Hubbub's probably because... And once again, like I said, he's got kind of a unique way of just being a
I mean, the face is kind of derpy, but that's not a deal breaker. Thousands of Marvel Legends are derpy, and people still buy that crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, you still bought it? What the? That's my argument.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because like I've been into He-Man since day one. I mean, I saw the first commercial for Grayskull when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I think, dude. I think I might have been 6. I can't remember, but I was a little kid, man, and I've been a fan ever since. And I can't really sit there. I can still sit there with the childlike mind, well, almost literally, and still just appreciate everything for what it pretty much is, instead of just being like, man, it needs to be like this.
It's all it's all you got to do it this way. I don't like it.
Like I said, man, if you put some power armor on a turd, I'll probably still buy it. So, yeah.
It's all. And that, kids, is the moral of the story. So, with that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will leave a link to Tee Bizz's channel in the description below. Stay tuned because later today, as of the time this is going to be posted, which is going to be Monday, going to do a co-op on his Evil Lynn. You get to hear my thoughts on her costume again. Probably not. I'm probably gonna.
Yeah, we'll do that on a Monday.
Probably gonna save that. My video's long enough for that crap.
I'm gonna have to finally get my Netflix subscription re-up. So
yeah, it comes out in a few days. This is the time of this video being posted. So
yeah,
gonna have to re-up that shit. But we hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll leave a link to Tee Bizz's channel in the description below, along with a link to that Evil Lynn review that will be posted later today. It'll be there when it's posted, don't worry. Don't worry about it, I got this. And as always, if you did enjoy this review, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell on both of our channels, so you know whenever we upload more reviews to the channel or content in general. Tee Bizz does a lot of live streams that yours truly is a part of, so maybe we'll do one of those before this video is posted, or
probably, yeah,
sometime in the future. I don't know. I mean,
maybe tomorrow.
Maybe a co-op video on Scareglow if we both get one. That'd be sweet. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll see. The future holds many things for us, I will say. So with that being said, if you haven't already, hit us up on Instagram at Overlord Productions and at Plastic Void for all kinds of toy and action figure related posts and whatnots. Sometimes other things, but we don't talk about those on YouTube. And as always, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below letting us know how awesome this figure is, because you know you want it. No, either way. Let us know if you like it, don't like it, gonna pass on it, Jones for it, whatever you want to do. Do I even get comments anymore? No, so it doesn't matter. But as always, keep comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when people are shitting on new MOTU before it's really even out yet. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than Gargoyles. We just got one figure for that. And I don't see people complaining about that. I'm just saying, where's my Gargoyles reboot? We got freaking Space Jam 2, but no Gargoyles reboot. Some bullshit. Either way, that's another rant for another day. So until next time, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, catch you guys later.